Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the 19th hole. We are live on In Between Media, sports, lifestyle, everything in between. Make sure you like this video right here, subscribe to the whole damn channel, and jingle that bell for notifications. Playoffs? We have reached the FedEx Cup playoffs. Only the top 70 in the FedEx Cup standings advance to the FedEx St. Jude Championship in Memphis, Tennessee, along the mighty Mississippi. We're going to bet on golf. We're going to set those DFS lineups for first thing tomorrow morning. Get your stuff in. Better late than never. Let's hit it. Welcome to the 19th hole on In Between Media. Canton, Ohio was hopping last weekend. I got there on Thursday, all the way through Monday morning, first thing. And now, not surprisingly, I am under the weather. So thank you for whoever was on that Southwest Airlines flight from Pittsburgh to Las Vegas, or even the 1 hour flight from Vegas back to Sacramento. Shout out NorCal, but I feel like crap. Connor, how are you feeling?
I have felt better as well, but we're good. Not for the reasons you did. I unfortunately was not available to go to Canton this year. So maybe I'll make my inaugural debut next year.
Yes, we would love to have you at the In Between Media house. Seth and Katie and the whole gang. Even Sven and I got to cook together at the same time in the same kitchen. And we had jambalaya, mac and cheese, roasted chicken thighs and vegetables. It was fantastic. And then I got up early the next morning, really hungover, and made everybody biscuits and gravy. It was great.
I saw all the pictures. It's not fair. It's just not. Yeah. It just was not fair.
Yeah, for those of you who did not get to partake next year, there's always next year. But it was a great time. We got to meet a lot of my internet friends for the first time. Some of them I got to meet for the second or third time. A couple of them I got to run into in Canton when they had already been staying at my house, like Kelly Singh. Shout out to Kelly in Phoenix. We love her. And a friend of the show stopped by, and she brought me a gift. Wendy Early, if you're out there, you're probably not yet, but on time with the whiskey delivery. Wendy gave me a gift bag and told me, open it when you want, but she's like, you probably need to finish it before you fly. And I said, okay. So I opened it when I got back to the house, and it's a bottle of Maker's Mark Private Selection. This is a store pick from one of her loved ones has a liquor store in Cedar Lake, Indiana, Holiday Liquors, and she gave me a bottle from Barrel Number 1 for Holiday Liquors in Cedar Lake, Indiana, and I wrapped it in blue jeans, and I am cracking it right now for the first time. Wendy, we love you. Both of us love you. I especially love you because Maker's Mark is always good.
Always.
Shout out Wendy Early.
Yeah, that's clutch. I am exceedingly jealous right this second.
Oh, there it is.
We've had good luck this year when I'm on the Ezra 99, so we're going to try and have some good luck this week.
There it is, right there.
Need a smidge of a bounce back after last week.
Last week was rough.
Not our finest hour.
What I'm thankful for is that last week I wasn't too aggressive when I betted on it. Like, it wasn't that bad to bet on the Wyndham, get a little action. Traditionally had some good luck. We had Tom Kim 2 years ago. I don't think we had Lucas Glover last year, but whatever. Nobody really has Lucas Glover at any point. Lucas Glover actually won the FedEx St. Jude Championship last year when he was on this unreal heater where he actually made putts for a couple weeks in a row. So
it was like a month. All of a sudden, he learned how to putt.
It was weird, and he lost it again. So, so we are going to talk. You're drinking the Ezra? I got the Maker's Private Selection from Wendy Early.
Yeah, well, you got to tell us what that bad boy tastes like.
It's spicy. It's got some rice spice to it on top of the wintry spices that I was expecting. Dried apricot. That's really good. Thank you.
I hate you even more now.
Wendy, that's one hell of a gift. Thanks again. You're a wonderful friend, and of course, friend of this show. Connor, you're gonna have to come out to Canton if you want some whiskey.
I keep saying I'm gonna get there.
I flew back to NorCal with a bottle of whiskey, and it didn't get damaged or anything.
So having traveled for booze selling multiple times, I have traveled many times with bottles in my bag, and oddly enough, they usually make it.
Yep, like I did. I rolled it in my jeans and put it in my dirty laundry, so it was padded on all ends, and that was it. Easy money.
I can't even be mean to you. I'm glad it made it. I'm glad one of us got to enjoy it.
And even if it didn't make it, like if it broke, all my clothes were gonna smell like that. So it's a win-win.
I mean, my clothes typically smell like either Coors Light or whiskey anyway, so.
Right. Yeah, what's the damn difference? All right, let's how about we go to the caddy notes. We have a golf course that's pretty predictable. We've seen this one plenty of times, and it's the playoffs. The playoffs are a little different though. You got top 70 instead of top 125. No cut. Elevated money, whole playoffs long. The goal this week is to make it into the top 50 in the standings for next week's BMW in Chicago. Shout out all the Chicagoans, including Wendy Early. Yes, but it all ties back to the Chicago, like Portillo's and all that good stuff. Tavern.
It's like you did it on purpose.
Yeah. Who do we have in the comments here?
We got Tim and we got Royal.
Shout out Calgary, Alberta. Where's Tim from? Tim is one of your guys?
Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, crap.
The other Tim that listens took us both down in the DraftKings tournament again.
Welch is on a heater. I hate him. All right, let's jump into TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. All right, Connor, this is playoffs golf. 70 guys, no cut, average length golf course. What is special about TPC Southwind?
I mean, other than the fact that you got to be real good with pretty much everything in your bag.
It's a fair test of golf, and we actually do like that.
Yeah, it's truly a fair test, and it's so TPC Southwind in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a par 70, 7,243 yards. You got Zoysia fairways, Bermuda greens.
Zoysia.
I'll say this about it, though we've seen it many times and we have some repeat winners here, there's more than one way to get it done. So really what you are looking for is a truly elite skill set, good, well-rounded golf. This place is going to pretty much demand everything. Demand that you can use every club in the bag. So the main defenses here, we got really, really tight fairways. Typically you're going to be somewhere in the neighborhood of 25 to 30 yard landing spots, deep Bermuda rough, which is not always great to deal with.
You know why, Connor? Bermuda rough, unlike bentgrass rough. Yeah, bentgrass rough, you get flyer lies because the blades of grass are so thick that you can get lucky where the ball sits on top of the grass. Bermuda rough is a bunch of little vines that kind of intertwine and they're fluffy. It's fluffy. It actually is fluffy. And so if you land in this 3.5 to 4 inch Bermuda rough, your ball is going down to the ground level no matter what you do. There are no flyer lies in Bermuda rough. If you miss these tiny little tight fairways, you're going to be hacking the ball out. And if you're hacking the ball out, these greens are not going to hold your approach shot. Guaranteed.
Yeah, because they are tiny.
And they're fast. Very fast.
Tiny, they are fast. There's 70 bunkers in play here. All those greens are pretty well surrounded by them. There's 11 holes with the water firmly in play. There's trees. There's, I mean, anything you want, and it's got a little bit of it for you. Bo hit on it though. With the green complexes, being that they are protected by sand and water, you really need that accurate approach. They are super fast, so we want guys that know how to shape it in, know how to control the spin, can flight it high, can flight it, however they need to get it to stick. You really don't want to be messing around the greens. Some mainstay things that from previous years, you got to be accurate off the tee, and you got to be solid on approach for the week. You can get by not being the world's greatest putter. You can't lose putting strokes, but you don't have to be lights out necessarily.
You have to be either a good putter traditionally, or you're riding on a big heater like Glover was last year. And that was kind of what Tom Kim's strength is putting, really. If you go back to his early days as a 20-year-old when he won this thing 2 years ago, this dude was lights out putting. We expected putting to be a strength of his at the Wyndham 2 years ago. And then you go into the FedEx St. Jude, and Bermuda surfaces are different. When you got fast Bermuda, you have to worry about the grain on top of the greens itself. The contouring is one thing. If you're putting down grain downhill, you can't even stop it. It just keeps going, and it rolls off, and then you got tight lies all the way around. And this is a fun course because we only know one thing, and that's that the winning score is going to be around 15 under par.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's pretty consistent.
That's pretty much all we know, because the rest of this golf course is going to be a great equalizer. And I do think we're going to get a favorite-ish player win this thing, because that's typically who gets pushed up to the top because of consistency and double bogey avoidance, which is going to be a key pivotal stat. Avoiding big numbers on this golf course is huge, because you're going to get your birding chances, especially if you're accurate off the tee.
You are. Interesting, too, speaking of being accurate off the tee, it's not only the accuracy off the tee, but it's knowing how to hit to the correct spots here, more so than probably a lot of the courses we talk about. And on top of that, every single week we kind of hammer and dial in one or two specific proximities that we're looking for, or ranges that we're looking for.
It's balanced
this is not
here.
it's not really the way it is this week. I think you can find an edge by having an accurate bomber that's going to be in those shorter distances.
Right.
But typically you need guys that can hit from every approach bucket. Guys that pop to mind maybe are like, Justin Thomas when he's on, or Colin Morikawa, guys like that just are well-rounded top to bottom iron play. So, but that's really this place in a nutshell. I mean, you can definitely take a look at the weather. It's been changing moment to moment.
Hot and humid.
So the air is going to be heavy. Definitely probably going to have some moderate breeze. Looks like maybe around 10 to 15 some days, but
hot and humid is going to make that ball fly and roll even more. Because there ain't nothing slowing the ball down when it's hot.
The only thing that's interesting is,
did we lose him? It's interesting. All right, Connor. I'll give you a couple seconds to regroup. There he is.
We got internet issues.
Oh, you're fine. You're back. You said what was interesting.
What's interesting is with the weather is that we are going to have some storms throughout. We're going to have some moisture. And so there may be some advantages to some tee time splits.
You mean Western Tennessee in the middle of summer is going to have thunderstorms?
There's allegedly going to be a storm or two.
Weird.
But for the most part, it looks like that's going to be Friday, Saturday are going to be the meat of it right this second. So I know we're going late this week. We're not going to have a whole lot of time to make those decisions, but it might not be the worst thing to check the weather later tonight.
Good call. All right. Well, let's say, Connor, what do you say we bet on some golf? We bet on some playoff golf, and we win some damn money at this playoff golf.
I think we should do that.
You good?
I'm in.
All right. Club twirling. Oh my God, where'd it go? There it is. All right, let's drop that banner. Tournament history. We're going to go to betting strategy notes. There you go. TPC Southwind. We have some guy named Scottie Scheffler in the field, and
Heard he's
he's
good.
at plus 350 odds, same odds he carried into the Olympics when we bet super duper aggressive at Le Golf National, and it paid off. You know why? Because he shot a 29 on the back nine on Sunday, because it doesn't matter how far Scottie is back. And if you bet Scottie at that deepest odds on Sunday, you would have got 30 to 1 on him. 30 to 1 odds on Scottie Scheffler on a Sunday when he was still within range. And he's always within range. But
put that into the category of shit I should have done.
Right, yeah. I mean, we obviously won a couple times live betting Scottie Scheffler. I think I might want to throw a little bit on the plus 350 just because he's that good. But I'm definitely going to be live betting him because this is a limited field, which means that the live bets are going to be more reactive. You're going to see the lines move faster. If he falls behind on Thursday or Friday, that line's going to move quite a bit. And this is a kind of course where if he can find the speed of these greens and read them okay, which he struggled for 3 days reading the greens in France. But when he figured it out, this guy's unbeatable. Unbeatable when he figures out the speed of the greens and knows how to read them. If he starts figuring stuff out, it doesn't matter when, we're going to bet Scottie Scheffler because he's number one in the stat model for some reason. It's something about weighting ball striking stats and birdie making and bogey avoidance and every stat that known to PGA Tour and the analysts, other than strokes gained putting, which is 63rd overall but 50th on Bermuda. So he is better on Bermuda than other surfaces. What say you on Scottie Scheffler, since we're gonna have to talk about him?
Yeah, he's down to plus 330 now.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I think you got to bet Scottie. I think you got to bet Scottie.
Bet 20 to win 70.
I think you got to bet him.
Okay.
I mean, he's just
bet 200 to win 700. It depends on your tolerance. Your unit sizes are going to be different based on your bankroll and your risk tolerance, and so that's a responsible bet because of the odds that he wins in a 70-man no-cut event are probably better than 3 to 1, honestly.
Yeah, yes and no. Like you can never count Scottie out, and
No,
so I
ever.
think you're potentially not gonna that number. You're not going to get the live number that we normally have been getting with Scottie if he comes out of the gate shooting. So if you like Scottie this week, I think you take the 330. I think
He's
what's
so hot right
interesting
now.
is when you look at Colin Morikawa and Xander Schauffele, though, metric to metric, stat to stat.
Pretty even.
Obviously, Xander is closer with his finishes, but Colin's kind of almost the forgotten guy in this cluster. And statistically, he's actually rating out a little better than Xander is even.
Not for me, but I'll go over that. I'll have a rebuttal ready for you.
So I mean, we'll get to him in a minute, but I think really it comes down to Scottie versus Xander, on who you want to bet at the top. I lean Scottie versus Xander in this tournament.
Oh yeah, and guess what? One thing that does not point to Scottie or Xander is history on this golf course. Neither one of these guys has done particularly well at TPC Southwind. That doesn't mean they can't come out here and just let it on fire because they're that hot, that good right now. But historically, this has been a struggle bus for both of these guys. Xander, a little bit less than Scottie. Scottie's kind of had a late season swoon most seasons except for this one. But Xander Schauffele, number 2 in my model, is 54th in this field in fairways gained, and that's a very heavily weighted stat for me. He's having a little bit of trouble finding fairways, and that could eliminate him from being able to make enough birdies and staying in position to stay close to this one. Xander Schauffele does occasionally struggle to gain opportunities to score birdies because of his wayward tee shots. It's not often. Obviously, he's having a wonderful season. 2 majors. Shout out Xander Schauffele with 2 majors in 1 season. Great job, dude. But Colin Morikawa, for example, is 23rd in my model because when I weight it for fast greens, Bermuda surfaces, he's 56th in the par 4 distance I'm looking at. He's 65th in scrambling and 66th in putting. I don't like that at all, even though his ball striking is, of course, amazing. Amazing. But if he gets into trouble a little bit, he's not going to be able to putt his way out of it.
So I disagree with you on all counts with Colin Morikawa. Like Colin actually is playing like really well right now, and
Oh,
if
he's
you
playing
run
great. I
if
just
you
don't
run if
like
you run a
those
model
peripheral metrics.
if you run a model for 24 rounds, his
I
stats
did.
are significantly better. I don't know how you've got it filtered this week, but I'm just telling you,
I
like
told you
what.
for fast greens on Bermuda.
So I have him at 15th in putting on fast greens on Bermuda over the last 24. I have him number 2 in this field for fairways gained as a general statistic for the year. I have him number 3 in good drives, which is the metric that combines distance and accuracy off the tee. And he is number 3 over the last 24 rounds across all surfaces, all types of courses for overall tee to green.
Yeah.
So
I don't have any gripes with his ball striking.
He's also 15th across the last 24 rounds in putting. So the putting's actually been coming along for the ride in this otherwise elite player profile. And I think there's some recency bias going around. Not a lot of people are talking about Colin. He didn't have a stellar Olympics. I think people had high hopes.
Yeah, they should have, because he set it perfectly for that golf course, and he played like dog shit.
I'm just saying to you,
I think Wyndham Clark beat him.
I know you're not in on Colin Morikawa this week, but there's a lot of reasons to bet Colin Morikawa here, and not the least of which is the overall elite iron play. Like that's one steadfast thing that Colin has. So I don't think that model, no model, whatever, eye test, Colin Morikawa can be a really good course fit here.
Well, here's why I'm not betting on Colin Morikawa. I like his number. 12-1 is pretty good. Pretty good in this type of event. But I'm getting a stellar all-around player who's a better putter, better at gaining opportunities, better at making birdies, better at pretty much everything except for off the tee accuracy, and one proximity range out of the 3 that I weighted. Ludvig Aberg is 22-1. Some books he's 20-1, and I have him rated 3rd overall. I like him that much better. Even if they were the same price, I would take Ludvig Aberg at 12-1 over Colin Morikawa, because I think Ludvig is next, and I think that this golf course presents a lot of challenges that Ludvig simply isn't bothered by.
Yeah, I'm in on Ludvig too. I liked him at the 22 that you and I both got him at. He's down to 20.
Still all in. I'm going to be like disgustingly aggressive on Ludvig this week.
I'm not going to be near what you are. My big bet for the week is Morikawa. And I'm not going to get talked out of it. But
no. And I won't talk you out of Colin. I just the reason why I'm not betting Colin is because of Ludvig.
Yeah, I'm relatively heavy on Ludvig too. I think the scary thing about Ludvig, and you touched on it a little bit, I think you mentioned it a little bit, is he does have some control issues from time to time. And this is not a course that you want to have that. You've got to be pinpoint accurate. So
he's middle of the pack in fairways gained.
And optimistically, like he's been playing really well over his last few starts, right? So
yes.
So I don't see like cause for concern immediately, but
he is in the top half of every single metric.
Yeah, with the exception of putting long term, like he still is not an excellent putter. He's somewhere in the neighborhood streaky. Of Scottie Scheffler. He's about
streaky. Yeah.
And the around the green game, which has been a complaint we've had with Aberg all season, is really not improving a ton. Thankfully for his sake, he hasn't had to improve a lot, but
right. Yeah.
But that's it's there.
Looking at that line going, this is the best line we've had on Ludvig all season. He's been under 20-1 pretty much all year without any track record to say that he's going to win something. This is when we start to pounce, because he's slipped to a number that he probably should have been all season, and it would have been a little bit more appealing to place a bet on him. Betting on a guy like him who's super young, who hasn't won yet, at 16 and 18-1, and that we mentioned it many times on the show, is it's not that appealing because we don't want to put that risk behind a great golfer who we haven't seen win yet. I think this is the chance to put some money behind him and say, hey, this is a good fit. It's a good line. Let's fucking go. Let's get behind the big Swede, the big easy from Sweezy.
That's what we're calling him moving forward.
Right?
Yeah, that's like I said, I'm in on him too. I see all the
Let's
things you
go.
do. We've been there since before anybody even knew what the hell his
Yeah.
name was.
Since Texas Tech and
So
beyond.
it's not, we're not jumping off of Oberg here, that's for sure.
Who's your next guy in after him?
So I take a little walk down the board. Actually, I don't have another one until
A
40-1.
promenade. You said 40?
40.
Okay. My next one is at 35, and it's a guy who last year when the playoffs started decided he wanted to go absolutely fucking bananas. And it all started where he didn't win the FedEx St. Jude, but he should have. Victor Hovland, after the FedEx St. Jude, did not lose for the rest of the year. And you know why? It's because his ball striking is absolutely absurd. Absurd ball striking, absurd iron play. And where his short game hasn't been great, he's also kind of reined in his ability to make birdies and bring that skill back. That's one thing I've been worried about him as he kind of bounced back from his coaching changes and all the mental strife that he went through, was he wasn't making very many birdies like he used to. And that's starting to turn around. I think Victor Hovland is live because as the courses get tougher, as the fairways get narrower, the greens get faster, Victor Hovland starts making birdies, and that's where a lot of these guys are going to struggle.
Yeah, I won't. I mean, I won't talk bad about Victor. It wouldn't surprise me. I think I'm gonna wait and see on him.
35-1 on a guy like that, though.
Yeah, but
that's where I'm at.
I know I said I wasn't taking course history largely into account this week, but he really has not done well here.
Right.
In his 2 starts. He really has not been playing well this year. He's got that all the problems that we talked about with his wedges and around the green are fully back.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I'm gonna wait and see on him. I'm optimistic. Coaching changes are reverting to previous coaches, I guess is a better way to put it. I'm optimistic that he's found some stuff in the past few weeks, and maybe next week, providing he makes it to the BMW.
Yeah, that's big if, really, because I mean you're going to lose 20 of these guys somewhere along the way. But
So,
four guaranteed rounds of a guy like that at 35-1 is where I'm at.
No, I like I said, I can't blame you, and it wouldn't surprise me. I'm.
It's not your guy.
It's a wait and see for me.
Who's your mystery man at 40-1, Connor?
Tony Finau.
Rising from the grave like the Undertaker is the man from Utah with more kids than irons in his bag. Tony Big Fresh Finau.
Anecdotally, I saw Blink-182 a week or so ago, and they came out to the Undertaker theme song, which was fantastic. But anyway. Yeah, so Tony Finau, everybody that watches this show knows that I hate Tony Finau. He dies.
He burns you every time you play him. It's almost like he's doing a bit, because Tony Finau is an excellent golfer. We love Tony Finau as a person, and he's fun to watch. The dude scores like crazy on courses just like this one, and I have a feeling that's why Tony Finau is right here at 40-1 for you to get hurt again.
Yeah, one of two things is going to happen. Tony's going to make us a lot of money, or Tony and I will be fully feuding come Monday. But
so does it concern you at all that he is 57th in this field in scrambling and dead fucking last in putting on Bermuda?
So the dead last in putting on Bermuda doesn't worry me from the standpoint that
doesn't matter that much.
He's
not
28th. He's 28th over the last 24 rounds in overall putting.
Yeah.
And like I said, in my mind, this place, as long as you aren't losing strokes putting, you can make up the strokes with accuracy, which Finau has in spades. I mean, he's number 2 in this field on approach. He's got the complete bag the way Morikawa does. Like, put any iron in Finau's hands, doesn't matter the distance, and he's a very accurate iron player. The off the tee game
making machine.
The off the tee game does scare me a bit.
It's not bad. It's 37th in fairways gained. So I've seen worse. So Tony Finau's messing with Connor's internet again. That's how deep we're into this conspiracy theory that Conor Coughlin and Tony Finau are doing a bit. They're making fun of us, because every time Tony Finau burns Connor, an angel loses its wings. Oh man, Connor, I feel for you, buddy. 40-1 though on a Tony Finau guy. That's a pretty good line. I don't see it. I'd much rather roll out of Victor Hovland corpse than a Tony Finau wish casting. But you do you, boo-boo. Going down the board, I must mention Corey Connors and Ben On. But I'm also going to mention a guy named Wyndham Clark. And Wyndham Clark looked surprisingly good at the Olympics. And I don't know why. I thought Wyndham Clark was going to get dead last at the Olympics. I thought he was going to be the one American that let everybody down. In reality, that was Colin Morikawa. But after the first round, he shot 75. He was pretty much in dead last. But then he shoots 68, 65, 65, and he was the second lowest American. God bless it. Wyndham Clark, back on my board. Please find some fairways, Wyndham, because the rest of your game fits this course perfectly. Please, please, please find some fairways. Wyndham Clark, your number at 60-1 is too enticing for me to pass up.
Am I back?
Yes, you're back. Did you hear everything I said?
I did. I actually haven't had a problem hearing you at all.
Well, my connection speed is outstanding.
Yeah, well, welcome to South Dakota. Sometimes it's awesome, sometimes it's shit.
Did you have to cattle prod the donkey out front?
I actually
start running after the carrot again.
I had to go feed some coal. It was
He actually had to drive to Mount Rushmore, carve off of Thomas Jefferson's nose, and grind it into powder silica dust.
Wyndham Clark, you and I are a little far apart this week. Wyndham Clark is not for me either.
He's giving me indigestion just thinking about it, because he's third worst in fairways gained, but everything else like putting, birdies made, strokes gained par 5, ball striking, he's top 10 across the board in everything except for fairways gained. And fairways gained, ironically, is one of my heavily weighted stats. And so that's why he's fifth in my model, instead of making me really wonder how he's above Scottie or Xander or Ludvig or even Shane Lowry, which we didn't mention yet. I just don't think Shane Lowry has what it takes putting on these greens, honestly. But Wyndham Clark for me is just a YOLO pick, 60-1. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, in that range, I like Davis Thompson. Keep riding with Davis.
I also wrote about him in the article, Wyndham Clark and Davis Thompson. Wyndham Clark is my YOLO bet, and Davis Thompson is he can't stay this hot, can he, bet? The dude is on fire.
I was telling you last week, and I wrote him up last week, and
what happened is the peach fuzz grew in to a full-fledged beard when he got the taste of blood victory. Like, this dude, blood in the water, got his win at the John Deere last month, and ever since, this dude's been sharking the ball off on the approach. His off-the-tee game has improved dramatically, but this guy's an assassin with his irons, and that's a great thing to see at this golf course, because you're going to need it.
No argument for me. I've been
no notes. Davis Thompson, yeah, 60-1. Still, it seems like a misprint because this dude is hot.
Nope, been all over him for weeks. So, like I said, not time for me to jump off.
Anybody in that 70 to 100 range?
So one other guy at 65, I won't talk about him long, but Sepp Straka actually kind of popped a little bit for me here. Number one in
accurate off the tee. Yep.
Number 1 in fairways gained, number 2 in good drives, number 10 in approach. So he's also a really, really good greens and reg and par 3 scorer, especially some of the little bit longer par 3s, which they're about 180. So yep. Number 7 in the field for par 3 scoring. And I believe there's 4 of them on this course? 5, yes. 5 par 3s.
5 par 3s.
So,
yep. I am not on Sepp Straka, but I am on one deep shot. So I'll let you keep going down your board, because I have one more on my board after Thompson, and he's way down there.
The only other one I'm going to call out is Johnny Vegas at 150-1.
Jonathan.
Yep, that's the
Colombia.
only other. That's my only deep shot this week. And
cocaine and coffee, Johnny Vegas. Let's go.
With Johnny Vegas, it's straight up just accuracy off the tee, accuracy on approach. You hope his putter figures it out.
He bombs it. He's the Lucas Glover this year, really. He won recently. He's caught a hot putter. He bombs the ball off the tee. He's a great ball striker in general. Johnny Vegas might be this year's Lucas Glover. So I don't hate it. My guy at 200-1. Shout out to all our Canadian fans. But I'm going after Nick Taylor. Talk about consistent. He's a consistent top 40 finisher. And I'll throw a little bit of love on him. 200-1 for Nick Taylor. I'm also going to throw a little bit of love on our guy. Oh, man. I lost him. Where'd he go? Tom Hoagie. Tom Hoagie is in my model somehow. I don't really like Tom Hoagie, but it is what it is. Connor's going to catch up here in a second. Connor's Wi-Fi feels like I do. Catching a cold. Where'd he go? Man, I'm just losing my mind. There you are. Max Gracerman.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
as soon as you came back, we got to play the red hot Max Gracerman, who's still somehow 80-1. But Nick Taylor's my deep shot at 200. I just wanted to throw Graceman in there because we're both in unanimous agreement with him because he's like Hansel. He's so hot right now.
Yeah, he's
blown it 2 weeks in a row. Blown it. Completely fallen apart last week in spectacular fashion with the eagle hole out, followed by a snowman, followed by a birdie, followed by a double bogey. This was must-see TV. But Gracerman's interesting because he's hot, and he's been really close 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, can't jump off him now.
No, don't do it. All right, Connor. How's your Wi-Fi? You doing okay?
Apologies. I don't know. I've never had this many issues at home. I was worried I was going to have these issues last week.
Yeah, for sure. You were in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so apologies.
Anyway, no trunk slams like me last week. It's been a shit run. I had a great run mid-season, but right now, I just need to get back to basics. No trunk slams.
The club as well. This would be a wrestling slam.
All right, Connor. Eating the chalk on Scottie Scheffler, 24.5% projected. That's a very accurate number since we're locking in the morning. I'm eating that chalk. You eating that chalk? And we got leverage on Xander. We got leverage on Ludvig. We got a little bit of chalk on Colin. I know you're going to probably eat that too. Cantlay is kind of a tweener here at 9,700. He has good course history here. Russell Henley's an easy chalk fade for me, even though he's accurate off the tee. This guy is he's not really playing that well lately. Who's your leverage pick and who's your chalk eating pick this week?
So I'm probably eating Morikawa more than Scheffler. I like the lineups I can build with not having Scheffler in there.
Yeah, I mean, it's $2,400 different.
It's considerable. I think what's maybe kind of an interesting play is going to Rory.
Right, 17%. That's interesting.
And the pricing on him is pretty good too. 11-1 gives you some opportunity to not have to get down in those sub-6 or sub-7 range.
Yeah,
and I think he's got the win equity. It's a gamble. Rory is doing Rory shit this year, but he's still
so volatile, even though he's great.
So Rory's an interesting look. I think Aberg at 15% is very intriguing at 10-2.
Oh yes, that's the leverage pick for me.
I think it's Rory, Aberg, and Morikawa for me right there in the 10K range. I think I'll have some Scottie, but
yeah,
I ain't getting to 22%.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Xander leverage at 16%. I'm going to hit Ludvig leverage at 16%. I'm going to hit some Cantlay, and I'm going to hit some Hovland. And I'm going to fade Morikawa, even though I might regret it.
I'm actually going to play some Fleetwood this week.
Tommy! In DFS, I get it. I get it. He's consistent. He's not going to beat you.
Well, and this is the scoring range we talk about with Tommy. This is not going to necessarily have to be super
15
low.
15 under Tommy.
So I liked what I saw in Paris, and not that I didn't like what I've been seeing from Tommy all season. I like this spot for him. I think that 9,800, it's not a bad price.
I think it's a little steep for him because not much upside scoring wise. He's not going to make a lot of birdies. He's not going to make a lot of bogeys. But in DFS, the leverage point is okay at 15%. But I think I want more upside. Hideki Matsuyama is getting a little bit of chalk, but he's even less owned, projected in the expert lineups than Tommy Fleetwood. He's also a lot cheaper, $500 cheaper. I'll take a shot on Hideki, even though he got robbed in London. No caddy, no no coach. His clubs are still with him. He's still got his medal, his bronze. So I think Hideki's going to surprise people because his number keeps tumbling here because of the news that he was pickpocketed in Rome.
And he's played well here. I mean, you can't take a whole lot away from Hideki. I mean,
all-around game. I mean, we're talking about a great ball striker with a great short game. He just doesn't beat himself, and he makes a lot of birdies when things are tough.
Yeah, Hideki in that low nines is one of my more favorite plays. It's tricky for me because I want to have enough fee now to whet my appetite.
And Finau's coming in around 15% also. It's pretty balanced. I mean, I like the balance here because you can go so many different directions.
Yeah, the biggest thing, we'll get down there, but the biggest thing for me is I just don't want to dip below 7. Like that's I know we're getting 4 rounds out of everybody, but
the top of this board's going to win somewhere.
Yeah, I want to get as much at the top as I can.
Correct. He's correct. So I am going to eat some chalk on Aaron Rye because, I mean, the dude he's hot. 8,200 for that guy, 14%. I'll probably match the field. I'm not going to get over my skis on a guy like him, but Sam Burns is leverage. Sam Burns fits this course great. JT does if he can pull his head out of his ass. Sahith Theegala is interesting. He can't find fairways. This course might chew him up. It's hard with this range because there's some chalky guys and then there's some really pretty much unrostered guys like Billy Ho and Cam Young, who I'm not touching anyway. Spieth and Fitz, obviously. Spieth with his struggles off the tee. Fitz with his struggles everywhere except for off the tee. Brian Harmon fits this course really well, but I just can't eat 15% Brian Harmon. Good Lord. That's disgusting. Ben On's my spot. It's a 5% owned. Ben On, 7,600.
Yeah, Ben On's risky. I mean, he's having a year.
He's so risky.
I think, to be honest, I think I skipped this range here, like from Fitz,
Davis Thompson love.
Yeah, that's where I'm going. Is Straka 74, Thompson 74, Bez 73. I might even take a couple of 1 or 2 lineups and burn them on Akshay, guaranteed 4 rounds.
Oh yeah.
So, and then going down a little more in the 7s, you got Siwoo there, and you got Taylor Pendrith, who could pop on this type of course.
Yeah, they're all leverage picks. You mentioned you're not going below 7. Max Gracerman might be the exception there, 6,900. He's coming in 8%, 9%, somewhere in there. That's plenty fine. But the chalk on Eric Cole is insane.
Insane.
The chalk on Ben Griffin is okay. It's 11%.
Not sure if I lost Bo or Bo lost me, but we'll keep hanging out to see if we can get him back. Yeah, with all the internet issues, it's hard to say, but I'll just keep going. So, he mentioned Eric Cole chalk. He mentioned Ben Griffin chalk. I'm going to be out on both of those. Getting down in this range, though, if you are in the 6s, Johnny Vegas mentioned at 6,500. He's coming around a little bit less than 7% projected. Eric Van Rooyen is somebody that we've played off and on this year, 6,400. About 4% down here, which is to be kind of expected this low.
It was me this time.
I was like, I stalled for a second because I'm like, oh shit, did I drop or did Bo drop? And then I
just thought you were letting me talk. I was on the other screen looking at my board.
Anyways, we're in the low 6s now. I was just talking about EVR, who we played a bunch of times. Victor Perez, who's been a popular choice of ours lately.
Yep.
And then the other Canadian that I mentioned that I do have some interest in is Adam Hadwin. Not that I think Adam Hadwin is going to compete for anything, but I do think with 4 rounds, Adam Hadwin is really consistent, typically pretty accurate. I don't think he's going to like burn you. Some of the guys down here in the bottom, especially on this course, you could be looking at like positive numbers going into the weekend. So I don't think Hadwin's in that boat.
Okay. Who was the last one I said?
I think you stopped on Gracerman.
Okay, yeah. So Gracerman, and I do have a star on Ben Griffin. I think his chalk's okay at 11%. And then my last guy in, if I only have 6K left, I'll throw Nick Taylor in a couple lineups. But I'm not trying to be down here. Just like you, I'm trying to be more in the 9s and 10s so that I can end up in the low 7s at the end. Either way, I'm not going to be venturing down that far very often.
So, aside from all of our technical difficulty,
As he says that. All right, so I am going to take our guy, Ludvig Aberg, 20-1 at 16 under par.
am I here?
Yes.
Colin Morikawa, also 16.
Okay.
I like JT as first round leader, though.
First round leader, I'm going to go with Tony Finau. Just to fuck with you. Get that hat before it changes its mind.
I see how you are. That's jacked up, man. All right, the hat may block the Wi-Fi.
Block it even more than it already has been. Tim Burke hung around.
Number 9 in your model, sir. Number 9.
Potion number 9.
The hat's going for it this week.
Patrick Cantlay. Course fit. Horses for courses.
Sepp Straka for me.
Ooh, I think we got a good hat pick. A little bit under the radar. We didn't talk about either one of them that much, but we did mention each one of them. So that is a good hat pick.
Mr. Straka is in my article. Not that people have a ton of time between now and tomorrow morning, but
yeah, check out mine on Betting Pros and Fantasy Pros. And in between the media next week, Tuesday, hopefully, for the BMW Championship in Chicago.
We'll feed our
Bears.
hamsters. Get some good internet going.
Jeez. All right, we love y'all. Thank you for joining us. Like, subscribe, jingle the bell. You know what to do. Brand outro.